Debt. It can feel like a never-ending cycle of past due bills, high interest rates, and even collection calls. You want a way out, but most companies only deal with certain kinds of debt or offer quick fixes and even dangerous solutions that can destroy your credit and put you right back where you started. At Family Credit Management, we do things differently. First, we'll review your credit report to access who and what you owe. Then, we'll create a repayment plan that's in budget, lowers interest, and eliminates fees. We'll give you a roadmap out of debt once and for all by consolidating all your unsecured debt from all your creditors in our debt management program. You pay us once a month, and we work with your creditors to take care of the rest. For over 20 years, we've been helping clients get back on track to financial independence. Now it's your turn. Get your free quote today.
And I am here today to talk with you about your finances, any types of questions that you may have regarding debt, regarding your finances, anything like that. This is the place to be to find the help that you actually need. Again, I'm Tish Griffin, your financial guru for the next 25-30 minutes or so. And we're going to talk about a lot of different subjects, a lot of different areas, but the goal is to help you get your finances under control and become debt free. So in the meantime, we've got counselors on standby at Family Credit that can assist you, that can help you. I do want to let you know that you can always go to their website at familycredit.org. You can call the 800 number, 800-994-3328, or you can chat online with a counselor and find the help that you need. Feel free to use them as a resource. Right now, everyone is all abuzz and talking about or getting ready for kids to go back to school. So we want to talk about a few different things that we don't even realize that are happening when we prepare for going back to school. We want to touch a little bit about helping kids get into school, looking at financial aid, what type of options are out there for school, and even just knowing what's going to happen once you are done with school. What's your next step? How do you deal with that student loan debt? Again, we'll also be touching a major part of this show on actual budgeting and developing your spending plan. Before we get started, I want to let you know that I do have some great tools for you to use, and they're available at Family Credit's website or just by calling Family Credit. First, I've got my spending plan, which this is a great thorough guide. It is actually put together to help you establish your budget. So this is available to you free of charge. There is no charge to get this in your hand. You can also go to the website and download it, but it's got some great tips, some great ways for you to figure out what your budget should even look like. And if you need just a little bit more information, there's Personal Finance Made Easy. This is also available through Family Credit. Either you can call and get this mailed directly to you and in your hands, like a thorough guide for you to use, or you can go to the website at familycredit.org and download it. The purpose of this is to put the power in your hands to dealing with your finances and to help you take control. A lot of times we say we don't know what to do, we don't know where to go. All we know is that over the next few days, you're going to be shelling out some major money trying to find clothes, shoes, all those things that the kids need, school supplies. Where can you get it? What can you do, and how can you make sure that you are getting what you need for your children but still remaining in control? And that's what we're going to tackle here today. Now, first off, just so you know, there are a lot of different community service organizations that are gathered together to provide the school supplies that kids may need. So look in your area. You can contact the Alderman's office wherever you live, talk to the districts, and find out where are those drives happening. Now, there are different picnics going on. There's some going on at La Folly Park. There is something going on, the back to school drive. Those are available in and around the city of Chicago, in the suburbs, for you to get those supplies that you may need. And then We know that those lists are going to be coming out from the teachers saying what they need, but hey, this is a good way for you to get the book bags, the backpacks that they may need, and those things that are available. Also, let's look at some different sales that are going around too. A lot of times we rush right out thinking we need to hurry up and get something, and we spend so much money. But if we can start planning before we even go out, then we are in more control. So the key to that is to know what you're looking for, to know what it is that you budgeted for, keep that in mind, and then we work on finding those items that we need. First place to start though, you need to know how much you are comfortable shelling out with for the school supplies. You need to know, are there any school fees that you need to be paying as well? And the first place is starting with your budget, my spending plan. Look at how much income you have coming in. Look at paying off your expenses each and every single month. First 2 steps, you need to have your goal in mind for this. You need to know what it is that you're trying to do each and every single month. And keep in mind that every month's goal may be different. Last month it was probably just to enjoy the summer, maybe take a quick vacation. This month is getting things back on track, getting the kids back in school and being able to afford it. Then in a couple of more months, we're talking about the holidays coming upon us, so we want to make sure that we're budgeted for that too. But it starts right now, knowing how much income you actually have coming in. So, to get your income, you don't want to just think about how much you make an hour, what your annual salary is going to be, because if we use that type of logic, our budget will always, always, always be wrong. When you think about the income that you have coming in, you want to use the amount that you get paid each and every single month. Not thinking, okay, I make $10 an hour, 40 hours a week, so I know I'll have $400. No, it's not that at all. But think about it. Look at how much you have each and every single time you get paid. And then you want to think about what's the lesser amount that I can use to support my income and say that this is what I actually have coming in. Because if your checks are really, you think you're going to have like $600 a week and it actually ends up being $450, you want to plan on having that $450 each and every single time, and that way your budget is more accurate because it's focused on the money that you actually do get. Now, if you have varying income, your income changes, you don't know, maybe you get child support some months you don't. Those are things that you do not want to bank on. You always want to bank on money that you know that you're going to get, not what you think you're going to get. And that's where sometimes we go wrong in our budget. So after we've got that, we know what our goals are, we know what our income is. Now we want to think about what are those things that we need to pay out each and every single month. What are those expenses that rob us, that we don't think about? And we know we have them, but it's like, do we know how much they are each and every single month? And do we know what those due dates are? Again, if you need some help writing everything down and getting a plan together in my spending plan, there are some great templates here where you can put in just how much each and every single month, what that bill is, how much it is, what the due dates are. Because sometimes we know we have to pay it, but we don't think about exactly when is it due. And by the time it's due, will I be late? Will I be past my due date? Will I get extra fees that make my balance go up? And then sometimes we think our bills are one amount and they turn out to be something totally different. So on this page in the spending plan, it actually asks you, what's the planned amount on your budget? And then what did you actually pay? Now this is a great template to get started, but to be successful, you need to do this each and every single month. The goal is to do it consistently, and that's how you develop a personal spending plan that works for you, for your life, for your household, and for your budget, because you need to be able to do this, again, consistently. A lot of times we get into that negative mindset of I can't, I don't know how, it takes too long, but this is a step that's actually worth it. So many people have found success, and they have success managing money because you have to sit down and plan for it and plan through it. You have to know what your goals are. You have to acknowledge each and every single month what your income is and what your expenses are. And then on the back burner of that, what expenses do you have that you just couldn't get to? We need to think about those things constantly as well, because as we look at what we have and we change our situation, we work on changing our situation, we'll become more empowered because we actually know what we're up against. We're not ignorant anymore to what those bills are that are controlling us. But it's all in having the correct mindset to tackle all of this debt, to tackle all of your expenses, to make sure that everything is getting paid on time, and you have a clear path to financial freedom. For years, we've let debt bog us down because we don't want to think about it, because it's negative, because it makes us sad, because we don't know where that money is going to come from. But if you do it this way and you start planning, you can actually see what is it that you're doing to contribute to where you are with your finances. So you want to think about that too. As you begin to go over your expenses and you look at your budget, the next thing you want to actually look at is what are you actually spending that you're not even thinking about? What are those spending leaks in your budget that uses up extra money that we never even thought about? Now, spending leaks can come in different ways, different forms, different variations. It could be when we go to the gas station, do we stop and get something out of the gas station instead of just getting gas? Do we go in? Do we buy pop? Do we get candy? It could also be how many times do we go to the restaurant each and every single week? Those are little drains on our wallet, because if we're spending $15 a day at the restaurant, when in all actuality at the grocery store, you could probably spend anywhere from $7 to $8 to even $10 on average. But it's still less than if you were eating out each and every single day. You can budget for a meal that will last you the whole week, or maybe 2 meals that will last you the whole week, on 1/3 of what you spend if you were to eat out every single day. Also think about on your way to work, or even if you're home, do you DoorDash? Do you stop and get coffee? Do you stop and get things at the bakery? These are things that we don't even think about that are cutting into our budget. Another thing that we often overlook and we wonder where our money is going is if we have those friends or family members that actually come to you and depend on you for help as well. So that's something else that you need to think about. That's an actual spending leak that we can work on plugging. A lot of times if someone is asking you for some information or for some help financially, it's because they know that no matter what, you'll give it to them. But you need to empower yourself and work on other solutions, other ways to say, I don't have it right now. And a lot of times we don't have it, but because our hearts are there, we end up reaching out and helping someone or giving to them or sowing into them when we let ourselves go and we keep our budget down. We don't know where that money is, and now we can't make it because we thought about helping someone else who said that they were going to pay you right back. And keep in mind, every time somebody asks you for money, or every time you lend out something to someone, do it with the mindset that you know, no matter what, you will never get it back. So we're looking at that. We're looking at our budget, our spending leaks, our expenses, our monthly expenses, the ones that are always the same, the ones that fluctuate. And this month, we're going to see how much money do we have left. Because between this month and the next month, we need to get the kids back in school. So now that we know how much we have left, now we need to look at ways that we can comfortably afford to spend without going above our means, staying within the budget. So there are some ways out there where you can look for sales. There are a lot of good sales, especially with kids going back to school, but staying within your budget, knowing that even though you may want to get a higher price item, what's on sale? Do we have any coupons that we can use? Are there any other websites? Can we find the same item that we're looking at Target? Can we find it at a cheaper website online? And we need to actually do this all the time. We need to develop a plan of where can I constantly save. And then that'll drive you to save more money, to have more money to put towards something else, and to stay within your budget. It's all about that mindset. We've got to change our mindset to do better for ourselves. Another thing that we want to think about is what are some ways that you can actually save maybe on clothing. Again, coupons are great, and you can find online coupons too. Another thing you may also want to look at Is thrifting. Is thrifting available in your area? Maybe there might be a Goodwill or Salvation Army or something like that where you can get cheaper prices or find cheaper prices for those name brands that you want as well. There's a lot of good thrift stores around, and there are some that are online too that'll help you. So think about those things. Now, as we get back into school, we've got a lot of kids going back to college, and the first thing that we know is that college costs an arm and a leg. I mean, it costs so much right now, so expensive, but we need our kids to get that education, to empower them to be able to do better. We need to be able to promote their entrepreneurial spirits, and just empower them to do better. So how do we do that? When they're looking at going to college, first thing we want to remember or that they need to do is fill out the FAFSA form. See what type of financial aid that they can qualify for. What type of assistance is out there. There's also a lot of good resources online for children or for college students to find scholarships. Now with the scholarship, they don't come easy because guess what? They are an award for you accomplishing something or for meeting a certain standard. So in order to show that this is something that you need and that you qualify for, you got to put in a little work. So what does that mean? If they've got things that you need to do, of course, they may want to see your transcripts. They may want you to write an essay. They may want a video, whatever requirement for them to show that you are worthy of getting whatever type of financial help you can get, you've got to do it. It's so worth it because you don't want to come out of your pocket. And a lot of times, your parents can't come out of their pockets. We are not able to come out of our pockets to contribute to you going to college. So you want to take that step for yourself. Be sure you fill out the FAFSA forms. Look for all types of scholarships that are available. Now, no matter what you get when your financial aid is complete, you do have to pay it back because guess what? That is considered a student loan, meaning that there is a debt that is attached behind it. Unless you're getting a grant that you don't have to pay back, the money that you get will need to be paid back. So think about this when you're ready to graduate or as you prepare for graduation too. How am I going to pay off those student loans? There's a lot of programs and incentives that are available for kids that are in college, for college students coming out. And typically when you graduate college, after you got that degree, or let's say you just stopped going, you have 6 months from that date to begin repayment. You can pay on your student loans while you're in college, but a lot of times the student loan servicers, they know that you're in college, so they don't make you because you are still trying to get your education. But once you get that degree, you got 6 months and then you need to start repaying. Whatever payment amount that they give you is supposed to pay off that debt within 10 years or less. So a lot of times if you got a large student loan balance, let's say you've got $100,000 in student loans, they want you to make a payment of at least $1,000 or more towards that balance to get you paid off in 10 years. Sometimes, well, a lot of times we know that that's not doable because $1,000 a month to put towards student loans is a lot of money. So your servicers have a few options for you. First thing you can do is you can look at consolidating your student loans. The best way to do this is through the student loan servicers directly. You can go to finaid.gov and see what's available. You can go to the U.S. Department of Education and see what's available. There is a report out there similar to a credit report that's just for student loans. So you can get this printout, long list of printout, which will tell you the date you got the loan, who it was serviced through, the amount you got the loan for, what the balance is now, and what interest rate you are currently at. After you get this printout report of all of your student loans, then you can contact the servicers to see what consolidation options you have. They'll take those student loans typically and put them into one loan. So they'll refinance the loans into one loan and give you a lower payment and hopefully a lower interest rate. This will allow you to pay those loans off quicker because now your payment's been reduced. But anytime you can afford to pay extra, you want to get those going, feel free to do so. It's totally up to you, but you want to make sure you're making at least the minimum payment. Now, sometimes on a consolidation loan, you look at the payment, you say, okay, I went from $1,000 payment down to a $500 payment each and every single month because I consolidated my student loans. But then you may say that payment is still too high for me. What do? You can take it a step further. There are repayment plan options available for student loans as well. There are some called a repayment, extended repayment plan that you can do. And that will look at your current budget. It'll look at the amount of money that you make, and it'll give you a low payment now. As you pay on it each and every single year, or whatever the terms are, they will increase the amount that you're supposed to pay because they want you to still be paying off this loan within 10 years. You can also look at doing an income-based repayment plan. With the income-based repayment plans, you may have to renew each and every single year, and you will honestly just give them what your income is. They may ask for your pay stubs. They may ask for your couple of years worth of tax returns, but they want to make a payment based off of your discretionary income. So what that means is at the end of the month, after you pay all of your bills that are on your credit report, how much do you have left? And that's the payment amount that they're going to base it off of. So after you pay your bills, if you only have $100 left, they know that you can't really live on that $100, so they're going to take a reduced payment. They may make your payment plan $20 or $10, and sometimes they'll say that your repayment plan would be $0. That all helps and works with your budget. So those are options if you are in student loan debt when you're looking to repay those student loans. You want to look at what your repayment options are. And if you do choose an income-based repayment plan, with those, they want you, instead of you having just 10 years to pay it off, they'll extend the time for you to pay it off to 25 to 30 years. And so that's why those payment plans are really, really good for your budget, because they've taken that huge payment, they've reduced it down, and then they say after 25 years, if you still have any balance left that you have not paid us, we'll wipe that out. But the only way to do it is for you to apply for the income-based repayment plan, submit all the information that they need, and then see if you qualify, what you qualify for, and get started with that. Of course, due to COVID, we have not been made to pay on our student loans as a nation. But that's going to change. Eventually, we will have to start making payments. And right now, that's set to start in October. So I do recommend you call your student loan servicers and see what options you have available right now. See what your payment will be once those payment plans, once that freeze on the payment stops. What do you need to pay? And you want to get that payment amount as less as possible. Because again, you don't want to pay on those debts forever. But if you do get the income-based repayment plan, that debt will be wiped out after 25 years. So those are some great options. And let's just say you really still can't make a payment. There's nothing that you can do, no money in your budget. You can let them know that in the income-based repayment plan, or you can look at doing what's called a forbearance or deferment of your student loans. Now with the deferment, the student loan servicer will give you however many months, up to 3 years, not to make the payment. With the forbearance, they're doing the same thing. They're saying that you don't have to make the payment because they know that you're going through an economic hardship. But with the forbearance, the interest still accrues. You're still charged interest, and so your balance will still keep getting higher and higher. So whenever you can make a payment, you should. But those debts, if you look at them, there are ways for you to get out from under them. Again, with the income-based repayment plans, the repayee options, those are great options that should fall within your budget. And if you are thinking about going back to school, you may want to keep those accounts in good standing as well, because the only way for you to get more is to make sure that you're paying those student loans now. Had a client that I was dealing with, that I was helping out with his student loans, and guess what? He didn't even know that he still owed on the student loans. They were from 1988 when he went to school. Keep that in mind. He forgot about the student loans. They ran past due. They affected his credit because they were old. But guess what? No payments have been made. They were so old that they weren't even reporting on his credit report. But when he tried to buy a house, when he tried to get a car, it popped back up on his credit. because they were never brought current. He just let them continuously run past due. So there are options for you to get those things, even if it's been years and years. You can still call the student loan servicer, the Department of Education, and get those things back in good standing by putting them on the program. So you do need to do that. And don't think just because they're not on your credit report anymore, they're not going to affect you. It's a government loan. They stay with you. And if you wanted to do something again or go to school again, they would also pop back up. So it's always best to take inventory of what you have. Look on your credit report, see if they're reporting, see what the status is. Make sure that they're not showing charged off or in bad, showing as a derogatory account. And if they are, call and see what can you do to get things back on track. That goes a long ways in looking in our budget, making sure that things are good for us down the line too. Again, you want to contact Family Credit, look at the My Spending Plan, and also Personal Finance Made Easy. They have the options in this guide as well on how to deal with your student loans. So you'll see those options in here. How to deal with your finances, dealing with credit cards, whatever. Looking for money saving tips, ways to save money. Looking for coupons even. Great tools that you can use. You can contact Family Credit at 800-994-3328 or go online to familycredit.org. So we talked a little bit about getting back in school, looking at our budget, making sure we can afford things, and then we talked a little bit about student loans. The last thing that I want to leave you with is that as you go back to school, a lot of times different schools have different fees that are involved with the kids going back to school, be it grammar school or middle school, high school, or even college. If you cannot afford those fees, please reach out to the financial aid department or to the registrar. See what is available for help to get some of those fees either waived or reduced, because it is definitely still possible. And there is help out there, especially when you're trying to get your kids back in school. We know you've got to deal with uniforms or clothes, school supplies. There are resources and help out there, so reach out for that. Find out that information. And then we want to make sure that as the school progresses, your budget is on track and you can control your finances. So we want to keep things in order. If you need help with your utilities, reach out, find those resources. And if you have someone that you know that needs help too, feel free to share this information. Again, familycredit.org is the website, or contact a counselor at 800-994-3328. Lots of great resources out there. It's up to you to grab them. So again, these are two that I brought with me today to share with you, and I do hope you reach out because they can mail these to you. And you can say, hey, send me 5, 10, whatever you need. They are free. So if you want it for your group at church or women's group that you're in, yes, you can use this and pass this information on. Okay? Get one for your friends. All right, so we will see you again next time that we are here. We'll talk a little bit more about your finances and dealing with collection agencies, getting your credit back on control, and dealing with those medical bills. That's what we're going to talk about next. So we'll see you then.